Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah Prinzing. Welcome back to the Slow Flowers Show. I'm coming to you on a very hot day in Bozeman, Montana, where my guest, Remy Brault, is going to stay cool and inspire us with her floral talents. Hi, Remy.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining up with me today.
I know, I love it, virtually, of course, but you are the owner of Labellum Flowers in Bozeman, Montana. And I will just say you have been a guest on the podcast in the past, not on the video episode, but that was kind of unique. And I have to go back and check when it was, but it was definitely pre-COVID. And you and I talked about your musician life and how you transitioned from music to flowers. So we'll touch on that a little bit today. But it's great to
Sure.
have you back.
Thank you so much.
I always love what you post, Remy. I have a family in Montana. I'm really love the state. I'm only a couple states away, so I love seeing what you're doing. We did a story about one of your weddings, sort of Yellowstone inspired Rocky Mountain weddings. So I just love your vibe. So tell us
Thank
a little bit about Labellum and what your scope of a business retail floristry is, or retail and studio floristry. How do you pull it all together?
Well, Labellum really kind of came out of me being burnt out from very, very high impact big events and floristry in Los Angeles. And when my husband and I moved here to Bozeman 16 years ago, I was like, I'm done with flowers. I don't want to touch another flower, see another flower, be near any petal whatsoever. And I took a little few month break and then reconsidered and decided maybe if I did something my way this time and created a flower design shop, studio, neighborhood place, it would feel more connected to how I felt toward flowers when I first started flowers. And that was 15 years ago now.
Wow.
And that,
Congratulations.
thank you.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's a huge milestone.
it's big. Actually, this fall is going to be my 30th year in flowers altogether, which is kind of scary and crazy to
Yeah.
hear that number out
You
loud.
started when you were 12 or something. Wow.
I wish.
And Remy, when you were in LA, and I know you've worked internationally in Europe as well, you always pretty much been on a team or worked for someone else? Is that sort of
Yeah,
the
I did a
differential?
little bit of freelancing here or there, but I really got in with a big flower event company and became their big event coordinator and flower designer for those projects. And it was like over the top events, big, celebrity weddings, Beverly Hills Elite, movie premieres, things like that.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a lot of sparkle and a lot of excitement, but on the grind of the day in and day out, it probably was soul sucking for you.
It was eye-opening. It was a truly extraordinary experience. I got to work with so many talented people, from people that are in the event industry to the flower industry to the actual clients that we got to create for. That was, unmeasurable for experience and just life fulfillment. But
Mhm.
working 75 hours a week, it's a lot, and
Yeah.
it's 7 days a week, and the events in LA, you get there at 9 in the morning, you stay till 4 in the morning. So it was just kind
Uh,
of all
yeah.
over. And when it's not your baby and it's someone else's baby, but you act like it's your baby, there's like, wow, maybe I just need to not do that anymore.
Yeah. So you transitioned to being an entrepreneur and kind of a mom and pop business. I don't know if your
Exactly.
husband's involved or not. It's maybe just
He is.
you
He
and
helps me do the deliveries and some back end stuff that I don't ever have a brain at the end of the day for. And my mom, who moved here right at the beginning of COVID, right before COVID hit, actually, she comes in and helps us in the morning. She's gotten so good at like greening up vases and like taking care of the plants. She's a wizard. So that it's really like literally a mom and mom and pop
mom.
shop. Yeah.
I was gonna right when those words came out of my mouth, I thought, wait a minute, her mom is part of this business. She's a
Yeah,
sweetheart.
she is. She's the best.
She's kind of willing to be on social media too. I think we'll have to show a few clips of the performances you two
I'm
cook up.
definitely bending her arm every time. Like, we're gonna post you dancing. You're so cute. She's like, oh my gosh, no one wants to see an old lady do this. I'm like, yeah, we do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So talk a little bit about the community, like Bozeman in terms of it seems like it's sort of got two main lives. So the year-round resident who wants to live there for quality of life, and then the kind of vacation home destination crowd. Is that crossover in your business, or am I reading that wrong?
We do get crossover. Thankfully, we have pretty much a steady, local clientele that we keep all year round. We have our, people up in Big Sky and here in town who do just come in occasionally because they have a second home here or they're vacationing. But the tourism isn't the main part
Okay.
of my daily business.
Yeah.
Bozeman has gotten bigger over the last 15 years. And we've felt the impact as a business with just that cycling new clientele and the growth of the clients in general.
Yeah. And that's a good thing, I guess.
It's a good and bad thing, right? Because I've really developed such kind of relationships with so many of our clients. I know their styles, I know what their homes look like, I know what works best in their homes and for them. I know what to send to their friends. It's kind of this. I can't remember everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe a few less is better for my brain.
So yeah, it's like an old-fashioned florist in a way, in that you have this 360 customer who will tap you for all occasions, or from birth to death, and also for just every day. It's I know you also have a big wedding and event business. So how do those two balance out, and is it more seasonal for the weddings?
You know, the last 3 years, it has not balanced very well. The shop has gotten so busy that I've pulled back on my weddings in the summer in order to not have to close my shop for 3 days to, cover a big wedding.
Oh, you
I've
you would
been,
do that? You would actually do that?
yeah, a few
Wow.
weddings, it was just too big.
Yeah.
It was not possible. Even with my event crew, it was just too much for all of us. It was floor to ceiling, wall to wall centerpieces for a few of them, and it was I can't have people coming in, even though people love coming in on event weeks because there's just like buckets and seas
Chaos.
of flowers everywhere, right? They love it.
Good
For me, I'm like,
chaos.
no, don't look at that. Pick and choose very specific events for the summer that I know are going to kind of be a good connection between me and the couple and not completely take over and affect the
Mm,
day-to-day brick and mortar.
mhm, mhm. That's interesting. And I guess it's nice to have that, ebb and flow, because weddings are also not year round, correct?
Here, they're really not. There's going
Yeah.
to be a few brides that love wearing like the white fur and the big, cute boots out in the snow. But most people want the pretty sky and, you know, the nice weather to wear the, different clothes and have different flowers, the mountains and the
Yeah.
rainbows that we get from the afternoon rains. So summer is the time for weddings here.
Yeah. Well, this is a good segue to talk about your product philosophy and your sourcing philosophy, because Bozeman is in Western Montana, and I know there are a lot of very small scale flower farmers in the state, but there are literally no, as I understand it, there's no wholesaler in the state. Am I still correct on that, or?
You are actually.
Wow.
There's no flower wholesaler here. There's no major floral importer here. So in order to get anything that is local, we have only our grow season from our local growers and farmers.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's luckily that population of small scale growers is on the rise. And do they come to you, or how do you work with flower farmers?
There's been an explosion of people wanting to grow flowers. Probably, I'd say the last like 5, 6 years, it's gotten extremely popular. Maybe too much. Maybe it's kind of flooded the market because I can't buy from everybody, right? My inventory and my, budget per week is definitely set. I want to support all these different amazing new growers, and every time they post and I see their supplies and what they're producing, I'm like, oh, that flower is so pretty, I want it, but I can't. So I've really worked on developing a few kind of really kind of secure farmers and flower growers that I know are going to produce the quality that I want, that I trust that they're going to pick the inventory that is good quality, that isn't maybe totally covered in bugs, that
Yeah.
has, the best kind of connection with me personally, and vice versa. And over the years we've really kind of honed in on a good flow.
I remember when I came to speak at this Rocky Mountain gardening um,
Oh
event,
yeah,
and you were there as the guest designer. That's actually when we met.
it was.
And where was the name of that place? Hot Springs. Um,
Chico.
oh, Chico Hot Springs, right. You did a beautiful tabletop design with all local flowers. And I remember, and I must have done a little slow flowers talk or something. And I remember this woman in the audience saying, um, if something's locally grown, it's going to have bug bites all over it, or it's going to have bugs. And I was so stumped by that comment. Like, oh, and maybe she was also alluding to organic. And if it's organic, then it hasn't been sprayed. And I think I kind of made a flippant response like, well, that's a good thing if you see bug bites. Then the bugs are not dying because of chemicals. But
Yep.
I do remember that. I can't remember how, maybe you had a different answer for that.
I probably started off similarly as you did, saying it's a good thing if we find a bug or two on the flowers. That means, yes, it isn't sprayed. We're not using herbicides, pesticides, any chemical products, and we can't really guarantee that someone isn't using an organic spray to try to lessen the impact on some of their crops. But the what I would follow up with that is is that um, if the growers actually are good at what they're doing, they're going to be supplying me, the retail florist, with product that has already been cleaned, picked through, washed a little bit, knowing that I'm going to put something on someone's table and I don't want tons of, thrips running on a dining
Right.
setting.
Right. Absolutely. And that goes back to when you said having relationships with kind of established growers. You get to know what their practices are, and they want to make you happy. They're not going to bring you infested crops or anything like that.
I think they're more in love with their flowers sometimes than I am. And they're coming in with this beautiful bucket of like dahlias or cosmos. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't you think they're so pretty? Right? Because you can see that they love it. And then they
Yeah.
want me to love it as much as they do. Because yeah, there's a transaction of, paying for the flowers, but it almost feels like a gift. It feels like we've received, a special present
Mm,
every week from my growers.
mm. You made me think of something I wanted to share on your website. So I just popped up one of the pages on Labellum's website, and I'll share this link also in our show notes so you can learn more about Remy and see more of her work. But she talks about her work. I love the way you describe yourself. You say our style is hip, modern, and organic. We love mixing natural elements and incorporating rich textures into our work. With artistry and imagination, each arrangement tells a story and is unique as our clients. We're inspired by the ever-changing seasons with all of their natural textures. You talk a little bit about your philosophy, working with gardeners and farmers for local flowers, and I encourage people to read this. We recently became beekeepers and added 2 beehives to our little ever-changing urban farm, and so it's like in your own daily life, you're exemplifying this, and we're gonna talk about your home, quote, unquote, "farm," and then this page ends with, "We believe in local," and you talk about supporting American flower farmers and being committed to slow flowers. And I just thank you. A shout out to you for putting this on your website. And I'm just curious, are these photos down here? Are these from your your home farm with your chickens and your bees and your pup?
That's me with the bees, and that was our beautiful, beloved, uh, lovely girl Kira. She has recently left us, as
Hmm.
well as little Jumper, little white chicken on the bottom of the screen. She's no longer with us either, but I can't bear to take those photos down.
Oh,
So
they're sweet.
I,
Yeah.
I, I leave them in there. Just like the flowers and the plants and the vegetables change in the garden, so do our, other living creatures and environments that are in the garden and in our home too.
Well, your belief in sustainability really does start at home because you are a gardener and grower. And tell me a little bit how you developed that home garden or your urban farm and how it influences what's happening at the shop.
Definitely. So we bought a little property right in town here in Bozeman about 10 years ago. And from the beginning on our home search, we knew that we had to find something that we're going to be able to literally tear up as much as possible and not get in trouble with like an HOA and or the city. And still kind of be true to what we were able to do at the time, right? Whether it was with budget and time and commitment. So we went with micro urban farm. So we're on a quarter acre lot and there's almost no like grass left there anymore. Everything is for growing and a few little pathways. I do think grass is important.
Yeah.
Grass is highly important for retaining moisture, keeping temperatures down in certain areas of our garden, feeding our chickens. They love it. So we do keep some grass, and then
Interesting. Yeah.
I let the grass grow really tall, and then you get like beautiful elements that you can't find anywhere else because the grass goes to seed. This is
Wow.
what lots of grasses will do. And like I had no idea that I had a beautiful Kentucky, bluegrass growing in my yard until I didn't mow it.
That is
And so
amazing. So
so
you're creating another crop, but also it's probably got great good habitat. And I hadn't thought about the cooling nature, but you have such hot summers that probably helps with all kinds of things, keeping the soil cool.
100%. We have multiple different microclimates everywhere we're growing. Our front space is under a massive 50-year-old maple tree. So everything is all shade plants and low impact. I can't say that they're all native, but they're definitely, low water and low
Yeah.
impact plants with some natives mixed in, focusing on pollinators and, using less water. And then the back is, I'd say, probably similar to how I run the shop, 85% food production, and then 15% flowers and wild textures for the store. And then the store, I usually will source about 85% local grown, seasonal grown when I can. And then that other 15%, unfortunately, in this flower industry has to be imported.
Yeah. Yeah. When you are not able to work with local Montana farmers, are you buying from California or Oregon, or do you get product shipped to you? How are you
I
tapping
do.
into those sources?
Yeah, so I do get some things shipped in by plane. I prefer working with distributors and wholesalers that have the availability to drive out, just because they are controlling the environment in which that product is being shipped to us.
Interesting.
With the flux of our temperatures here in Bozeman and Montana in general, and then knowing where things get stored at FedEx hubs and UPS hubs, it's either below freezing most of the time or above 100 degrees in those spaces.
Oh, the product
So
must be just distressed when it comes
it's
in.
no good. Yeah,
Wow.
it's most of the time it's going to be a 50% ask for a
Waste.
refund because stuff is just destroyed.
Wow.
So the shipping here, it's really touch and go. I hope other, people have had better success than I have, but I've really kind of leaned heavier on either shipping in through trucking or
Right.
knowing that something's going to be really strong, like I know bittersweet branches that I get from one of my guys in Oregon, or smilax from down south that I know in 24 hours is going to be okay, even with a cold or heat.
Right. Also, you do use a lot of architectural elements, maybe more in the winter, but like to see you using anthurium and protea and like these things that probably can ship even out of water from California. I don't even know if that's still part of your mix, but I've seen you use those
They
in the
are.
past. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Protea. They're in the shop literally almost every week. I'm kind of obsessed. They're just like these beautiful
Yeah.
giant fireworks that light up
Yeah.
every arrangement. And those are easy to ship, really not a problem.
Yeah.
Things like anthurium, I have pivoted from getting a lot of cut anthurium to actually buying the whole plant. I think it's a better way and repurpose. I buy the plant, I cut the stems that I want, and then I regenerate those plants for resale.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. So in your shop, are you selling house plants, potted plants as well?
Yeah.
So you're kind of becoming a nursery woman.
Oh my goodness, not even close.
No, but I
I
do.
focus on like rarer, cooler, fun, plants that can go around people's house for
Oh, okay.
decoration.
But I also like
Yeah,
the idea of if you can harvest from the plant and then still sell the plant or grow it on for second use for second harvest for yourself. Gosh, that's
exactly.
such a smart way to go. That's so sustainable. I love it. Okay, anything else you want to mention about your influences, your philosophy, your sourcing practices? I know your commitment to sustainability is really what makes you distinct in your marketplace.
When we first met, I don't think anybody in our area was talking about it as much as I was. And I was literally, I would go on walks and I would meet a gal working in her yard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those peonies are so beautiful. You have so many. What do you do with all those peonies? Oh, I don't know. They just kind of flop up. Why don't I buy some from you? Right? So I was
Great.
meeting neighbors and, trying to tell people that you don't have to just let them fade. I can give them a whole new life. You can buy some extra spend money, and this can be a nice little, working relationship setup. And more I would then tell clients, oh yes, I got these. She lives on, South Third. Like, she does? I'm like, yeah, these are, you can't get fresher than this. She cut them this morning and brought them over. And it was so fascinating every time to see their face light up, knowing that, well, that was just grown right here. Wow, what a great idea. And people hadn't thought about it, talked about it. And now people are knowing that we should get more food local. Our farmers markets are just like they're succeeding so well here, and being like such a part of Bozeman community. Like, our farmers markets now go into our winter season, and
That's great.
growers are providing all the root vegetables and different bread products that they're able to make. And there's a different, understanding, I think, about things in general that are grown.
Also, I have to add, I have spotted you using food in your arrangements. So that's probably why you're going to the farmer's market for, with an eye for attractive design elements as well.
Totally. It's so great. Like, every time I harvest my garlic scapes, because I plant like almost 200 cloves, so you cannot possibly eat 200 garlic scapes. It's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But I'll add some of those fun elements into the designs, and it just always creates those textures that I'm constantly on the hunt for.
Love that. I love that so much. Well, I asked you if you do a design demo for us, and it looks like you're sort of set up to do that. We
Yeah,
did allude to the fact of what your aesthetic, you say your style is hip, modern, and organic, but that is just the beginning. There, you go in so many directions. You're very much an iconic one of a kind designer. You're
oh,
not
thank
following
you.
anyone else's style, Remy. And I always look on my Instagram to see what you've done that day. You post almost every day. And it's just delightful. So thanks for
Thank
saying you'll
you.
do a design demo for us.
Absolutely. I have a big party tomorrow, and I figured I'd make one of the centerpieces that we're doing for them. They wanted elevated Western chic,
I
And
like
I was
that.
like, oh, that's going to be fun. So we went with really fun, different muted summer palettes. I think they're going to kind of feel like a hot, hazy sunset, which
Mhm.
we're definitely having this week. So it's going to complement even the weather really well. And everything except for the roses have all been grown here in Montana.
I
Textural
love
elements from my garden, and then I got in some pretty flowers from our farmer friend, Jamie Rogers, up in Helena.
Oh, yay, Jamie. Thank you. You just you described this evocative mood about the hazy sunset. Um, does that happen a lot with clients, or are you giving them kind of the language for the vibe they want, or do they come to you with that? That's so creative.
I, I do definitely describe things differently, I think, than my clients may.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, oh I like that. Often people trust me to kind of go in the direction that I think they're thinking of. It's a lot of kind of premonition mind reading,
Yeah.
which maybe 99.9% of the time works really great.
Yeah.
But
I
um,
love it.
but I always love connecting in with out, but having the design still feel accessible. There's very, neoclassical and traditional designs that don't necessarily call my name anymore. And the uber modern and really over stylized designs that you'll see the more like really high style, designers doing don't fit our environment here.
Right.
So over the years, I've been really trying to make it feel Montana, but have it be relevant.
Oh, I love that. What you just described is like you have to interpret this sort of high-end vibe for the place you are, and if you didn't, it would look weird. It would look kind of not at all like it belonged. And when you said, what did you say, they were having a cowboy style dinner party or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's elevated Western.
Elevated Western. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, I'm going to minimize myself on the screen so people can get a full view and we can see you've got this low box and your palette is quite beautiful. So talk about what this is, like a centerpiece. So it'll be a low, wide, like table runner kind of vibe.
Yes, so there's going to be really long tables, and we're going to have these mixed in with mini little crock pots that are going to line the whole table. So it's just going to feel like a lush garden growing down this giant kind of, I don't know, banquet.
Okay, I'm ready to learn, Remy. Do you want to talk about the box? Is that something that you sourced, or is it? It sounds like it looks like it's lined, so it's waterproof.
Absolutely. So this is a really a nice little fun box. I think I got these through Accent Decor, but they come with a cool plastic liner
Mm,
so that it can still hold water. Trying to use less foam as much as possible. So I made a great little snake here out of some chicken wire to add some extra oomph to the flowers being able to stay in place. Um, I'm gonna give it a little bit of extra taping too. I think that's just gonna um, keep everything in place during transport. The worst part is when the inside vessels topple out because things weren't supported well.
yeah, especially because that's such a shallow uh, box. It would be so easy for that chicken wire to pop out with a heavy stem. So
And it definitely does. And my Montana nemesis is wind.
okay,
And this is an outdoor event,
okay,
and there's
okay.
always wind. I'm putting on my little pepes here. They protect my thumbs. These are little Japanese finger protectors, but you know the Muppets shrimp character? His name is
Yes.
Pepe. So they look like little shrimps.
I love it. Do you use a knife? Is that why?
Oh yeah, I use
Okay.
I don't think I've gone a day in 30 years without a knife on me, in my bag, in my hand. Um, my knife is my most used tool probably,
Sure.
and then my clippers.
Yeah. I can see that, especially knowing what the way you were brought up through the industry. I mean, that's a production tool that everyone uses.
Absolutely. I've, gone through starting with the, little tiny Swiss Army knives to then the stiff fixed blade knives. And now I use a French folding knife called an Opinel. It's really very smooth handle. I love the different woods that they use, and the blade's really strong and easy to sharpen.
Beautiful.
Um, then I just use my little Japanese clippers. They work the best for me.
Great.
So it is berry season here in Montana. So I'm going to start with using some really lovely raspberry greens to just fill in and give some coverage over the chicken wire to
Yeah.
kind of hide the mechanics. I
I
think that
love that
always is,
product. Yeah, that
it's
product
so
is
pretty.
it's a big deal here in Seattle too.
I
Everybody,
bet.
relies on it because it also is just so, long lasting in water.
It does. It really holds up well. Pretty soon I'll be harvesting the ones with the berries on them. Yeah, so
Oh,
pretty.
love. Do you get the berries when they're green, or does it really matter if they're more ripe? You just if for it's an event, it probably is fine.
It depends on the color palette.
Yeah.
So when you want something that's softer, definitely pre-ripening is best. But I love that little kind of neutral burgundy of the raspberries. It almost fits every palette, unless it's something that's distinctly only white and green.
Love it. Yeah.
And I cheat all the time. I will add things that have a little texture color in there, and most people
That's not
don't seem to have a
cheating.
problem with it.
No. No, it's back to that kind of when you said that there's sort of this local, farmer's market following, people probably are fascinated when they see fruit on a branch.
Like these are golden currant that I
Oh,
grow. It never
gorgeous.
seems to produce enough berries, and maybe it's because I cut too much out of it every year, wanting the greenery. But the leaves are just so pretty, and
They
they're just
really
like
are. I
delicate,
love
right?
that. That is
Yeah.
stunning.
For me, like I
Just
said, I'm always on the hunt for texture.
well, to have basically 2 to 3 different kinds of greens, and now you're adding the burgundy. Is that 9 bark?
It is nine bark. Oh,
Oh,
that's so
so
pretty.
pretty. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. That really you could just do a foliage only centerpiece and people would be like, "Oh my god, Remy, that's so beautiful."
We get asked for those all the time, all year round. The most popular is in the winter. People tend to really love how we green up for like holiday centerpieces. Um, but just something like this, add a few berries, and it just feels like an element in most people's gardens. And
Right.
having that little mini garden on your table, that who doesn't want that?
Yeah. I noticed that you're breaking down a lot of these branches too to get 2 to 3 cuts, which is really a great sustainable practice too.
It's super hard for me to throw things out. I have a lot of collections and piles everywhere of little twiggies, little stems, little, oh wow, that one little bloom dried so nice. I can glue it onto a wreath. It it it's a good thing and a really bad thing. At the end of like 2 years, you just have way too much stuff. But like even saving things like that, it's so magical. I could
Oh,
put that in
wow.
like a cute little bud vase, and
Oh, that's
it'll just
sweet.
look pretty, right?
Yeah.
So
Love it.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
super hard.
The
I always call
purple.
it chocolate Amy.
Yep. Yep. That's probably what it is. Chocolate Amy. That's gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
Wow. Especially there's just the volume of that flower head.
It is space filling and eye
Mhm.
catching without being still that dominant bloom. Um, and I always appreciate when the arrangements feel lushy without being overpacked. And I think
Yeah.
that's a really hard balance sometimes to not have that, roundy moundy look, because you've just packed in so many blooms that they lose their space, their presence in the arrangement. Like, I don't think greenery is a filler, right? It should have its own respect, its own placement in the arrangement, and be used that way. And then when the flowers fade, people then can pull those out and still have a nice looking arrangement of the greenery that goes past just the life of the stems.
You also seem to give a little bit of negative space around those flowers so that they aren't, like you said, back to that packed feeling of just cramming in as many as possible. These breathe.
I think breathing is so important. We go in and we trim our gardens so that the flowers don't get suffocated by undergrowth or by each other. It's the same thing with a flower arrangement. You want it to feel like it's something like a natural living space. So you have to have those breathing elements and those negative spaces, like you said, to be able to see things. If everything is so tight together, you're never going to be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more, and that's when people use foam, is when they're trying to, mass pave rose heads. And that's just a different aesthetic.
It is. It's totally different design, and it definitely has its place and its purpose. When you're going for something that's going to be an outside look, oh, these are really pretty too. The little astranthia.
Oh my God.
And everything doesn't have to go everywhere, right? Like in some gardens, if we're going to keep that kind of garden imagery going, you just have your tall delphinium and lilies growing in one space, and then other flowers are growing in other spaces. The flower arrangements can do that too. It doesn't have to be something in every location. I love that if someone's sitting on this side of the table, they get a completely different view of the arrangement than someone on the opposite side.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that point too, because it is more of a reflection of just the wildness of nature instead of hyper planned. Even if you had a composed planned garden, you could still have spires like that. Oh, there's your Lizzie.
Isn't that pretty?
Gorgeous,
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it's so pretty.
Is that one stem?
That's one
Oh
stem.
my gosh. So
I
you're
know.
breaking it down. Okay. That's gotta blow people's minds when they see that.
They don't think it's real,
Yeah.
and I think that's so extraordinary, to constantly be able to expose someone to a new type of flower that they never had that experience with, and now it becomes their new favorite thing.
Also, that particular variety, I don't know if it's Roseanne or not, but, it has such a nice echo of the greenery because those buds start out green, and so they kind of belong with all this foliage. Stunning.
They do. It almost creates that berry type of look, having that
Yeah.
more chartreuse green before it goes into that mocha type of bloom.
You have used fewer than a dozen flower stems in that arrangement. It's really built on that foliage, which is a very economical way to create such a long piece and keep it, affordable, I guess, for the event budget.
I'm going to tell you what this costs at the end of it. I'm going to let you guess, and
Okay.
then what most people would expect to pay for it. And that's been a big, big thing with me and my flower shop. Oh, Jamie brought in some
Oh,
of the first dahlias. It's
oh,
just extraordinary.
it's
These
perfection.
tight button ones are really my favorite. Everyone talks about, oh, the cafe au lait, cafe au lait. They're big, so they're impressive, but they literally last like a day.
Yeah.
These will last over a week, maybe 2 weeks in a vase. They're
They're
so
stunning.
special. Yeah.
Yeah. And the shape is so whimsical because it's tilted, it's not just a lollipop. It's got a little personality.
It has tons of personality. And then you get to use the fun little
Side
bud
buds.
offshoots too.
Okay, now I'm racking my brain. I got to think about what I'm going to guess about the event budget. How many people are at this dinner party?
It's going to be about 40 people. It's a very intimate party. And
And they're investing in flowers. That's really
they are
special.
really investing in flowers. It's hard not to have a nice party without flowers. And I always tell people, if you are on that major budget, just do candles. Don't fuss with any flowers or anything. Just put beautiful candles down the table and be done with it, rather than kind of half notching it and being upset that you weren't able to go that hardcore with
Interesting.
the flower budget.
Yeah, and you do bud vase treatments and all, but you must have a philosophy about how to make bud vases look impactful. Do you group them, or?
The bud vases have to be in groups of 3 minimum. And honestly, they can't be single stems unless it's something that's, once again, very modern, and you have extraordinarily beautiful bud vases with just like a magnificent white calla lily coming out of it. And then you have 10,000 of them all in a row. Right?
Yeah,
so
get the impact.
It's like, look at that repetition, which just makes it simple and extraordinary, right? Sometimes simplicity is too minimalistic and doesn't give room for any like real presence for the flowers. And isn't necessarily worth having a floral designer create that for you, because the time that they're going to be spending creating that is what you're spending all the money on.
Right. Yeah, and it feels sterile. I liked your point about being honest with people and saying, just get candles. If that's if you have a limit, you can kind of make a statement with masses of candles. But of course, for an outdoor dinner party, that's probably impractical too, because of the wind.
Here, I'm telling you, that wind, you got to put them in deep hurricanes
Sure.
so that those little votives aren't really affected.
Yeah. Good point.
The giant, beautiful taper candles are an indoor element only. So
okay,
85%
all
local,
Montana grown.
15% were imported roses. But this client has to have this look. It's super important for the event to match a branding colors. And these like giant quicksand roses and the toffee roses, they really create that.
So quicksand and toffee, and you are you're also using them judiciously in that it's not an all rose arrangement. So that kind of helps your sourcing percentages. And who can deny how beautiful they are? I mean, nobody would take that away. Yeah.
They are. They're truly gorgeous. And, this is something that can't be duplicated in November. But if they loved something so much and were able to maybe say, okay, well, it's November now and you want something for this same brand, why don't we go with all of the really cool local wheat that we harvested, and then I'll get in those imported roses and we can make a similar version of that arrangement that we did for you. And a lot of my clients love that, because then there's a thematic vibe to kind of the different arrangements that we make for them, but it feels unique and special each time.
Well, and you're kind of helping them see what is seasonal, like wheats. I mean, that with roses, I would never think of, but I bet it's dramatic.
It looks so beautiful. And having, the fun Kentucky bluegrass.
The Labellum home garden grass. I love it.
Wow, what is that grass? It's so
You're like, I grew it.
Oh, it's so good. And then this is just like your average general roadside barley.
Really?
Yeah, and it's,
What?
roadside barley, wild barley, but it's so feathery and it's
You're just
so
getting that out of the ditch on
delicate.
the side of the road?
Well, you didn't hear it from me.
No, no. You're helping. It's a civic beautification project, getting the weeds out.
Maybe.
I I just think that is texture is such your superpower. It's amazing.
Texture is my total jam. I love having those little unexpected elements that like you had said, bring that negative space, add the
Mhm.
air into the arrangement. And when we do get that little afternoon wind, they're going to be playful and move
Mm.
around in the arrangements also.
Well, also, I'm thinking about this, that there will be people on all sides wanting to have conversations. So you can go high, but only with the very wispy
Only
elements.
with the wispies. Yeah.
Ah, that's cool. So if there's 40 people, how many of these troughs are you doing, these long boxes?
I'm going to do 6 of these.
Wow.
And then to show you, I made these little crocks, right? So the little
Those are
crocks go on the ends of
gorgeous.
each 6. So they're really cute. And voila.
For
Right?
Oh my gosh, so stunning. Oh my
So pretty,
gosh,
huh?
so beautiful.
With all of the vessels that I source, I really want it to be something that someone's going to want to keep in their home and reuse all the time. I do have a system here. I tell people that they can bring in any of their glass, ceramic, or metal containers that they don't want anymore because we'll recycle, repurpose, and reuse them.
Wow, that's great. I love it. Okay, so you want me to guess what the budget is for this?
Drum roll.
I don't know, Remy. I feel like I want
Here,
to.
I'll give you a closer look.
Yeah, no, it's just, oh my gosh, just delicious. I'm going to say $350.
$250.
Really?
And most designers would probably charge 400 for it. I don't have a good guesstimate usually on my time, so I don't really incorporate that into my pricing. I really keep it mostly with product. And
Okay.
this is about $250 retail.
So that's and then how about the centerpieces or the vase arrangements? Want me to guess on that?
Yeah,
I mean, knowing that the box is 250, this one in your hand is using almost the same amount of roses. So maybe 150?
I charged 100.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. These people don't know how lucky they are. And if
And
you were
and that
in
way it's approachable. That
Mhm.
way they're really getting something beautiful. I'm part of their event, and they're feeling very satisfied with something that's gorgeous and um, didn't break the bank.
Yeah, and you feel fairly compensated because you are such a pro. You took longer to make this for us, but you could be making these in 15 minutes probably or
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
Remy, what would you charge? What would those LA clients have paid for this? Probably like 500 or higher. Yeah,
Probably 5 to 6. Yeah,
yeah, it's stunning. And this is a repeat client. This is someone you want to have a relationship with, and you're
100%.
yeah, great. Oh my gosh, bravo! I think it's going to
Thank
inspire
you.
everyone to go try making their Western moody sunset arrangement.
I just want you to know that I'm so incredibly thankful for our relationship that we got to meet at that Zone 4 Rocky Mountain Gardening Conference, and that you continue to be inspired by things growing just like me.
I it is a privilege, and I always learn from you. And thanks for your generous sharing. And I'm so glad it coordinated with an event because I know you've got more to
Me
produce,
too.
a few more of these to make.
Totally.
But
We'll get these done today.
good. Well, folks, we'll make sure to share Remy's social media places so you can follow along like I do. And Remy, thank you so much. These people are so lucky, and I hope that they just don't talk to each other and gaze at the flowers all evening.
Yeah,
Maybe
with a
we'll
glass
do
of
both.
rosé and just dream. Sounds good to me.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm gonna just put myself back up on the screen so we can say
Hi,
goodbye.
pretty. Yay.
Yeah, thanks so much, Remy. Have a really great rest of the week, and we're gonna share this, with the Slow Flowers community on YouTube and on slowflowerspodcast.com. And I encourage you to stop by and see Remy. I'm planning a drive through Montana in 2027, and I'll be coming to visit. So
Can't
thanks so
wait.
much.
We have
Okay,
a
take
dinner date.
care. All
See you
righty.
soon.